What's going on? Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and you're watching NFL Daily. Today's show, an NFL Daily Mailbag. Questions submitted by our loyal fans here at Chat Sports. And then guess what? We break them down here. So this first one's from Joshua. He says, in fantasy football drafts, take first overall, Saquon or Zeke. Before I give you my answer, I want you to think about it. So I'm going to ask you this question. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, I want you to comment below. Who is the number one pick in fantasy football drafts this year? I want you to type Z for Zeke, type S for Saquon, or type O for other if you don't think it's any of those two players. So I'm going to present my arguments for Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon, but I'm going to kick it off first with Ezekiel Elliott, going number one overall in fantasy football drafts. The dude has led the NFL in rush yards 2 of the last 3 years. And if he wasn't suspended in 2016, he probably would have led the NFL in 2017 that year. My bad. 34 touchdowns in 40 games in his entire career last season. 1,434 rushing yards. 6 touchdowns. Oh yeah, and he added 77 catches for 567 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys, you better keep feeding this guy. But let's talk about Saquon Barkley going number one overall. He racked up 2,038 total yards with 15 touchdowns in his rookie year. I would argue that he is the most talented running back in the entire NFL. The only thing is, when you're talking about Zeke compared to Saquon, Zeke plays on a much better football team. Saquon's going to have to deal with Eli Manning and potentially Daniel Jones. But when I look at Zeke and I look at Barkley, you're going to get solid production. So I don't know if you can really go with a wrong answer. So let's take a look at their 2018 stats lined up together. Saquon, 261 carries compared to Zeke's 304. Rushing yards, advantage Zeke. Receptions, receiving yards, advantage Saquon. Total touchdowns, Saquon to Zeke. Here's the thing though, touchdowns a lot of times, they're hard to predict. I bet you in 2019 the touchdown numbers are a little bit similar. So I'm going to ask one more time. Who is the number one pick in fantasy football drafts? Why don't you type Z for Zeke, type S for Saquon, or type O for other. If you want to know who I would take number one overall, hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Let's keep it moving now. Next question's rolling in here on YouTube. From Bob Money, looks like a 49ers fan. Browns getting too much hype this year. Well, Bob, how about this, Bob, and everyone else who's watching? Who's getting more hype, the 49ers or the Browns? Who's going to have more wins? Now, we're here to talk about the Browns, because are the Browns a little bit overrated? I guess Bob sure thinks so. They're the favorites to win the AFC North, which is kind of funny considering that their last playoff appearance was in 1994. Now, sure, the Browns have done a lot of good things this offseason. You go out and trade for OBJ. Heck, I remember when the Browns traded for OBJ, the entire Chat Sports team were on our way home. And then I get a notification that says, hey guys, turn around, you're headed back in on to work. Plus, you signed Kareem Hunt. Sure, Hunt's going to be suspended the first 8 games, but you're adding a running back who's been super, super talented. Heck, the dude led the league in rushing yards his rookie year. Oh yeah, Baker Mayfield, year 2, threw for 27 touchdowns, a rookie record with only 14 interceptions. This Browns team is going to be fun. But let's look at their previous records, because anytime you're talking about a team with this much hype, you would think that they had more success. 2018 was considered a good year for the Browns, 7-8-1. 2017, 0-16. 2016, 1-15. 2015, 3-13, and then 7-9. It's been a rough 5 years. It's been a rough, basically since I've been alive, the Browns have been bad, basically. All right, so let's look at the Browns' schedules week 1 through 4. They're kicking their season off with the Tennessee Titans at home. Then they go to New York to play the Jets. Then they have the Rams. And then they get their first AFC North test here with the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. That's not very easy. Then they go the road again against the 49ers. Then you're going to have the Seahawks, a week 7 bye, and then a tough game at New England, and then another tough game at the Broncos. That's a lot of road games right there in a row. Week 10 against the Buffalo Bills, who have actually had a pretty solid draft, and I think a pretty solid offseason. And you got the Steelers, the Dolphins, and then at Pittsburgh again. The Steelers, I know they lost AB, I know they lost Lev Bell, but they're still a really tough team. The Bengals at the Cardinals. I can't wait to watch Kyler Murray against Baker Mayfield week 15. That one's going to be awesome. Week 16, the Ravens, and they're going to wrap it up at Cincinnati in week 17. So that's the Browns' schedule. How many games are they going to win in 2019? We're talking about the team that's getting a lot of hype. Well, how many games will the Browns ultimately win in 2019? 9, 8, 0-16? For me personally, I think the Browns are going to be an 11-5 team. Do I think that they're overhyped? Not really. They're an exciting team. They have a good offense, a good defense, and you're about to see them a little bit later on in the show, so stay tuned to that. Make sure you guys are always staying tuned to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv, and make sure you turn on those notifications so you know every single time we go live or as soon as a video drops, because pro tip, we put people on our show who subscribe, who like our videos, and who comment first. So pro tip between me and you, make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/chatsportstv. And if I miss any of your questions, guys, because we get a lot of them, make sure you use hashtag NFL, or make sure you guys are hitting me up on IG and on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Also, we crossed 100K on YouTube, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Let's get to that next question now here on YouTube from Focus on Your Purpose. If anybody wants to focus on my purpose, you let me know. Will Patrick Mahomes break Peyton Manning touchdown record this season? So 56 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. It's not going to be easy. He won the MVP in 2018, and he's already the favorite to win the MVP this year. Now, the record is held by Peyton Manning, 55 passing touchdowns in 2013. It's exciting because Patrick Mahomes is only entering year 3. Like, it's mind-blowing to think of what this kid did. You could say realistically in his real year. Sure, he played one game as a rookie, but then coming into the NFL, the dude just absolutely balled out. He had an insane year. He threw for 50 touchdowns. He had 12 interceptions. Heck, he threw for over 5,000 yards. When you see these type of numbers, I understand the fact that you're like, okay, maybe he can improve on these numbers and then break Peyton Manning's record of 55 touchdowns. So here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, he won the MVP in 2018. So let's look at the MVP winners from 2013 to 2017. Brady won it in 2017. Matt Ryan won it in 2016. Cam Newton won it in 2015. Rodgers 2014. And Peyton Manning in 2013. Now, why am I showing you this stuff? Because doing exactly what you did the year but you won the MVP is not easy, and then improving on it. So I took the numbers from all 5 of these quarterbacks and looked at the years that they won the MVP and then their following year. They had a passer rating decrease of 17%, yards decrease of 12%, a touchdown decrease of 23%, and then an interception increase of 25%. When you take those numbers and you put them to Patrick Mahomes' MVP years, this is what it comes out to in 2019. So, again, a 17% decrease in passer rating, a 12% decrease in yards, 23% decrease in touchdowns, a 25% increase in interceptions, which then gives Patrick Mahomes 4,486 yards, 39 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Those are my projected 2019 stats for Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to ask everybody who's watching right now, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you see this video, how many touchdown passes from Mahomes in 2019? Remember, he may be without, and I probably would argue that he's going to be without his main wide receiver option in Tyreek Hill. Comment below, touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes in 2019. We're going to keep this show rolling with Casey. Casey, I know you're a loyal watcher of my Raiders channel. Get a picture, homegirl. Any news on Kyle Rudolph? Spell check's a cool thing. To the Raiders. So far, not so much news on Kyle Rudolph going to the Raiders, but is there a trade coming for Kyle Rudolph potentially soon? He's set to make $7.625 million in the last year of his deal, and there's just been rumors circulating this entire offseason on what is going to happen with Kyle Rudolph. Here's the thing. Kyle says he wants to stay. Kyle's also said that he thinks that the Vikings have the best offense in the NFL. The only thing is they don't know if they want to pay Kyle Rudolph $7.6, and he doesn't want to take anything less. He literally came out and laughed at the idea of him taking less money, which I can kind of understand that considering what this guy has done for the Minnesota Vikings, the last 3 years especially. Sure, 2016 has by far been his best year. The guy had 840 yards and 7 touchdowns. Last year, 64 catches was kind of a little bit of a safety blanket, but best case scenario, he's like the 3rd option. Because he's not going to be ahead of Thielen, he's not going to be ahead of Stephon Diggs, and I think with a healthy Dalvin Cook, he's probably the 4th option. Oh yeah, and they drafted a guy named Irv Smith in the 2nd round this year of the NFL Draft. Which team will Kyle Rudolph play for in 2019? You think he's going to stay with the Vikings? You think he's going to go somewhere else? I want you to comment below where you think Kyle Rudolph is going to play in 2019. This next question is fun from my man Joseph. Joseph, again, you can see me. I want to see you guys get some pictures. Who is the best team in the AFC and the best team in the NFC? So luckily, I had a little bit of fun here, and I'm going to break down my power rankings. First up here for the AFC. Here are my top 5 teams in the AFC, and if you don't like them, too bad. Or you can hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365 and give me your top 5. That's one of the craziest things about the internet. So I got the Patriots at number 1. I've already put money down that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. The Chargers, I think they're the new best team in the AFC West. The Colts, led by Andrew Luck. The Kansas City Chiefs, and the guy we talked about earlier, Patrick Mahomes. And guess what? Here's my answer. Do I think the Browns are overrated? Not really. They're my 5th best team in the AFC. So who's the best team in the AFC? Is it one of my 5 teams? Is it the Patriots? The Chargers? Is it somebody that I didn't even mention? Is it the Raiders? I'm kidding. Who's the best team in the AFC? I want you to comment below. Let me know. Give me your top 5. Tweet at me, Mitchell Renz 365. Now, let's go to the NFC. Let's get it rolling. The New Orleans Saints, they're my best team in the NFC. I think they got ripped off last year. Let's be real. They did. They should have been in the Super Bowl. The Rams, the Bears, and then it got tough for me. Those top 3 teams are by far my top 3 favorite teams in the NFC. And then it got tough. And then I was like, all right, I think the Cowboys. And then I was like, the Eagles, could it be the Vikings? I debated a bunch of teams. But let me know. Cowboys, Eagles, should I switch them? Let me know in the comments section. Who's the best team in the NFC? I want you to comment below. So I had said the Saints. You can make the argument for the Rams. I get it. They were in the Super Bowl, but come on, pass interference. You could also make the argument for the Bears. I know there's going to be a bunch of people making the argument for the Cowboys. Best team in the NFC. Make sure you comment below. Last question on today's NFL Daily Mailbag is from Facebook. So shout out to Joshua for watching us on Facebook. Where's the ideal landing spots for Le'Veon Bell? So Joshua was asking this question because there was a report out that the Jets, they were going to trade Le'Veon Bell because Adam Gase didn't really want the guy. And he came out and said last week, Adam Gase that is, that the Bell trade rumors are ridiculous. And I kind of agree. The Jets, they went out and signed Bell to 4 years, $52.5 million. The original thing that Gase said was that not that he didn't want Le'Veon, that he personally thinks that they overpaid for him. But now you have Le'Veon Bell, who's one of the best running backs in the NFL. Like, let's not forget, in 2017, Le'Veon Bell had over 400 touches. Like, I would have argued before last year, Le'Veon's a top 3 running back. But, Joshua, since you asked the question, here are my top 5 trade destinations for Le'Veon Bell. Y'all know that I love fantasy football. If you could tell me any team that I'd put Le'Veon Bell on, which I'd be the most excited for, here are my top 5 teams. You put DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, and Le'Veon Bell on an offense. Let's get rid of Lamar Miller. I'm sick of watching that guy. Or the Chiefs. Andy Reid knows how to give running backs the football. Be really interesting there. Andrew Luck and the Colts. The Bears with Matt Nagy. I'm telling you right now, Le'Veon would be interesting there. And the Buccaneers, the reason why I put the Bucs on this list, he'd get a lot of work because I'm sick and tired of watching Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber stink it up. And hopefully Bruce Arians get that offense rolling. So that's my top 5 list for Le'Veon Bell. But where would you want Le'Veon Bell to play in 2019? You could pick any team in the NFL. You could pick your favorite team, or you can just pick some random team. Where would you want Le'Veon Bell to play this year? Like I said before, I'm taking the Texans. You can say the Chiefs. You can say the Colts. But I want you to comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, where would you want Le'Veon Bell to play this year? I want to give a special shout out to everybody who watches us here on YouTube, youtube.com/chatsportstv. And guys, there was a lot of questions. And first off, I want to say thank you for submitting them all and using that hashtag NFL. And if I missed your question, I'm sorry. Hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365, and I'll make sure I answer them. Stay tuned.